Miyako and Ichigo have finally come face to face after all those years since Ai's murder, and in their reunion, Miyako literally just broke me in this latest Oshinoko chapter. Miyako's whole character, for me, is one built up on strength. Strength she herself has had to dig deep and find through no choice of her own, and this chapter really gives our girl some spotlight. She's always been such an important character that works behind the scenes in the story, and I always have more than enough time for her, but the term behind the scenes is literally this girl's life as we learn today. In the last chapter, we saw just how much Ruby's work schedule was beginning to weigh heavily on Miyako. It's a lot of work to take on for a rising star who's at the make or break moment in their career, but when you throw in the parental feelings Miyako has for Ruby too, it makes that job infinitely more difficult. We see just how overworked poor Miyako is and that she is desperately in need for some help, calling out to Ichigo in particular, asking aloud, "What would you do?" To blow off some steam, Miyako goes to a bar where she ropes the poor bartender into listening to her worries. We get to see a really emotional Miyako here who was opening up about her connection with Ruby and Aqua. You know, how she doesn't know who they truly are beneath the sour-looking Aqua and the ever-smiling Ruby. And that was because Miyako isn't their true mother and that bond just isn't there. Miyako is at the height of her frustration, only for none other than Ichigo to walk into the bar, which is where the last chapter ended. Chapter 125 picks up right where we left off. After the initial shocked stare down we got between the two, Ichigo just turns and tries to make a beeline for it, but Miyako is having none of it and goes off in pursuit of him. We have a pretty funny panel where Miyako turns to the bartender and says, "Master, I'll be back," and he replies, "Do as you wish." You can tell that this guy is just like, "Bro, I don't get paid enough for this." However, he does glimpse at her as she leaves, which indicates that he is concerned for our girl here. Now, in hot pursuit of Ichigo, Miyako needs to close the gap. To do so, she removes her high heel and launches it like a shuriken, striking Ichigo clean in the back of the head so she can catch up. And upon catching up, you just know that Ichigo is in trouble. Towering over him is a woman full of rage, what must only look like a demon in pursuit of her prey, ready to unleash fiery hell on him as she says, "I finally found you." It was nice knowing you, Ichigo-san. And you can't really side with Ichigo here. I can only imagine all the pent-up feelings that Miyako has. I imagine she's thought about the moment of a chance encounter between them numerous times with thousands of different ways in what she would say to him, and for him to just run when the encounter happens, yeah. You'd be so mad, right? Miyako pounces on Ichigo and says, "Do you even know what I've been through? After throwing aside the promise we made, what the heck have you been doing all this time? You idiot." Or baka. Sure, Ichigo had his reasons for what he did after Ai's death, and yeah, he's a human with his own emotions and coping mechanisms, but to just abandon Miyako the way he did and just leave everything to crumble with her without ever getting in contact, that was just such a grade A douchebag move, and Miyako has all the right to lay it on him here. And that's not even weighing in the fact that Ichigo is her damn husband, man. Bro. What did you think of these opening pages? Do you feel for Miyako here? Well, let me know by hitting that like button for me, as it really helps me out. And if you want more Oshinoko chapter reviews, then hit the subscribe button and notification bell to be notified. Arigato. Now let's get back to the chapter. So we get a long-awaited flashback into Miyako's backstory here, and I know backstories are usually a bit of an ugh moment, but I think Oshinoko always knocks them out of the park, and Miyako's is no different. So we see Miyako arrive to the bright lights of Tokyo as a younger woman, and she is blown away by them. She says that they stole her heart in an instant. Miyako has come to Tokyo in pursuit of her own dreams in the entertainment industry, and in awe of Tokyo, she just jumps straight into all of what Tokyo has to offer, especially its nightlife. Miyako, for as long as we have known her, has always been a stunner, and in her youth, she was certainly no different. Nice. Miyako uses her looks, charm, and confidence to attack the Tokyo nightlife as if it were a game. She would go to clubs and bars, attract men, gaining experience in building connections, jobs, and of course, money. The more she did this, the more experience she got, and money along with it, so that she could level up and buy more powerful weapons, which in her case was makeup, so that she could attract even bigger investors. But the more that Miyako leveled up, the more her standards did too. She comments saying that the more time she spent talking with adults with loads of money at night, the more the men hitting on her that were her age at university began to look like boys to her. She was pretty much throwing away her own personal life in order to seduce her way to her dreams. And you know what? It was working for Miyako. And I gotta say, I love how they took her statement of the Tokyo nightlife being like a game and literally turned these panels into one. It's the way that they talk about gaining XP, buying weapons, and there was even a really cool panel where she mentioned leveling up, where she had like HP and MP stats. I really appreciated that, and I thought it was awesome. So we followed Miyako's rise as she started getting better jobs to talk to more wealthy investors. She started at a club, moved to a bar, and then to a kyabakura, which is the Japanese word for a cabaret club. They don't sound like high-end jobs, but they are so valuable to Miyako's strategy here. As with each upgrade in job, she not only gets to talk to more rich and wealthy men, but in a more personal way too. It's going to be a lot easier talking to these men one-on-one in a bar or a cabaret situation than it would be at a noisy nightclub. Not only that, but these higher-end clubs will also have more high-profile clientele. This was all working for Miyako, and you love to see it. She was playing the game by the rules and advancing, finally landing the jobs that she wanted. We see a noise panel of Miyako on a job at a racing track, and another panel of her either on a shoot or presumably working to get more jobs. Either way, I really appreciate these panels, if you know what I'm saying. However, regardless of Miyako's leveling up and these jobs she was getting, it all started to fall from beneath her. There is a lot of competition in Tokyo, and of course there's a lot of beautiful people there as well. And though Miyako could still get opportunities to meet celebrities in high-profile places, she felt like she didn't have other traits that were needed to make that next jump. She felt though she had the look, she didn't have the qualities needed to live as a celebrity, and by the time she had graduated university, the invitations to parties from CEOs had dramatically declined. As she was getting older herself, the game had changed. She knew the people she was chatting up weren't the type of people she could settle down with and live a happy life. She found that she was going from chatting to these high-profile people for jobs herself to now introducing younger girls to them, and if they did want to talk to her instead, it would only be to spend the night with her or asking her to be one of their many lovers. Miyako is a smart girl and knew that she was at the make or break moment in her career where it was dwindling away from her, which makes her the prime target that these kind of men prey upon. The kind of women who will do pretty much anything to get their last chance, though the words of these men are all but lies to have their way with them. You just really feel for Miyako here. She had worked so hard and played her cards right, but she seemingly just didn't get that one bit of luck, meeting the right guy with the right offer to really send her on the path that she had dreamed of. Now, who would stumble into Miyako's life at this point? None other than Ichigo. Let's go. The two of them meet in this seemingly bar or cabaret situation and move to the roof of the building overlooking the bright lights of Tokyo. And Ichigo says it straight. He asks Miyako, "Are you going to keep working in the underground world? If there isn't anything that you particularly want to do, then why not work for my company?" Miyako saw this opportunity as her way out. Yes, it was working for a company rather than being in the limelight herself, but as we know from when we first met Miyako, she admitted that she was always using Ichigo in order to meet hot actors and opportunities for herself, but we also know that Miyako isn't fully like that. We see her working hard for Ichigo as Miyako says something really striking to me. She's basically saying that she felt like life was playing a cruel game on her, where a person like her, whose dreams of becoming something hadn't worked out at all, is now working a job in which she has to support others who have those same dreams. I totally get that feeling, and it's something I struggled with a bit when I started video editing for other YouTubers myself. Now, I went full-time on my own doing this channel, which was amazing. I'd worked so hard for it, but it wasn't working out. I needed money to keep myself in the game, to pay bills and to not have to go back to a normal job as a failure who couldn't hack it. So I found video editing for other YouTube channels, and that was huge for me. It managed to get me stable, and I've now gotten to the point where I feel like I'm doing pretty well. However, in the beginning of doing this, I was working to help get other channels to places I could only ever dream of at the time. Places I'd worked so hard to try and achieve myself. However, I was looking at that completely the wrong way, just as we see with Miyako here. So we see a panel of Ai performing as Ichigo and Miyako look on from backstage, and Miyako says that seeing the light from behind the stage wasn't as bad as she thought, which is exactly how I see editing for others now. Just because you aren't the one out there with all the lights on you doesn't mean that the success isn't yours also. You worked hard on the complete package, and where that goes, you go along with it. I take pride in the work I do for others, and when a view milestone or a subscriber goal, whatever, is made, I feel a little fuck yeah, as part of the team. You know, like I worked and achieved a bit of this myself, right? Yes, those on the outside looking at the finished product or the talent won't associate you with it, but that doesn't matter. It's taking pride in what you do in helping that thing happen and become successful in the first place. That's what matters most. Following this, Ichigo asks Miyako if she'd like to continue working for him, and if she helps support him, then he will show her the most sparkling sight in the whole world, which of course was the Strawberry Productions' dream of getting an idol to perform at the Dome. This then comes back to real time, where we get the most powerful part of the chapter. Miyako is letting out all of her pent-up emotions to Ichigo as she says, "You said you'd show it to me, but you just gave up on your own and ran away on your own." With tears streaming down her face, Miyako says, "I still haven't given up yet. It's our dream. You're the one who said it." And this is where the chapter ends. Wow, Miyako, wow, what an absolutely emotional moment that was. I can't imagine how hard it has been to carry all these feelings while still working hard to keep Strawberry Productions running, you know, to not give up on the dream that they once had. Then you throw in all of her personal life stuff as well, and bro, Miyako, I just want to hug her, man. The panel of her crying really hit me. It's full of pain, pent-up emotion, but it's not a face that has given up. It's one that is still working hard to achieve what they set out to do. This surely has to be the wake-up call Ichigo sorely needed, right? I honestly can't imagine him turning his back on her now. I thought from the last chapter that this was his time to re-enter the fold and help steer the ship, pushing Ruby to their dream, all while trying to control the situation going on with the revenge plot as well. Damn, powerful chapter, man, and really cool to get that backstory of Miyako's too. I honestly didn't think the story could make me love Miyako anymore, but it's done it again with this chapter. What did you think of this chapter? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And while you wait for the next video to drop, why not check out this video where I talk about Oshinoko, but from the perspective of a YouTuber in the entertainment industry themselves. But that is it from me. I'll see you soon for some more. Take care till then. Peace, peace.